fuel filter replacement in IS220d Lexus. So back of the car, if we head up here around the back axle area, so just above the diff up here, that's the fuel filter housing, and what you can see is 3 bolts, I believe they're 12mm bolts, that's holding the housing in its location. We will be wanting to drop them down on the way, and I also believe that there is a, yeah, if you look up here, that is a locking nut that's stopping the housing from turning. So if you wanted to reach your hand up here to do it, you wouldn't be able to turn that without releasing that pin first. Let's see. So on this side, if you just look there, you can see that securing screw that's in it. So what we'll do is we'll remove them 3 bolts, drop it down, probably take off the hoses, loosen that securing screw, and then we'll be able to remove the housing. I now have those 3 12mm bolts cracked, and you can see the housing is loose. So if we just backing off the last one there. So once I remove that last one up here, this will be free, and I'll be able to take down and take off the actual hoses that goes into it then. So those 3 12mm are now removed, which leaves the housing loose. The next thing I want to do is that clip up there. I want to back that off, so I get the pliers, pinch that, remove it back, and then drop down that housing. So I have the housing now out, and I hope yours is easier than mine was, because these 2 hoses, both of them were nice and stuck on, and with the limited space, very difficult to push back. When hoses are stuck on like that, what you need to do is get a pliers, gently squeeze it on that point and try and rock it to break it away from the seal that it has, and once you get a twist in it, usually it becomes easier to pull back. But in these ones with the limited space up around the diff and the drive shafts and the way it is quite difficult. And then of course this is the, if I look in here now, this is the locking screw, and as you can see on mine, nicely eroded away. So we're going to have to do something about that as well. But when you're looking at it in the car, that's the way it's facing. So you have your 3 12mm bolts, which again were locked in mine quite nicely. I had to use a 1/2-inch drive extension and socket due to the limited space again against the diff, and then I had an adapter which brought it up to a 3/8 to allow enough power to crack them bolts, because a 1/2-inch drive and 3/8 wouldn't fit, and a 1/4-inch drive ratchet didn't have enough power. So that's basically the hard work done in regards to this. Once I get the screw out, it'll be a case of turning that cap and pulling down the housing. It's very difficult to get this out, even when you have all them bits removed. It does come out past the drive shaft, towards the left hand rear of the vehicle is where this will exit out. It's a very tight squeeze, but it does come out, and it's very difficult to do these in position. You can do it if you rotate them down. You'll be able to see the screw. If that was easy to remove, then you would be able to do them without taking them down any further, but in my case there was no chance of that, looking at the state of that. So next thing we'll do is get that out of the way, take down the filter and we'll stick the new filter into it. So I ended up having to cut this screw here. The head was too wet and wouldn't back out no matter what I did. So the tool I used for that was an air hacksaw. So I used that tool to cut it out. Done it easy. So when you have that done, you then wind this back. And then this will rock and pull straight out to leave you access to the filter. So all in all, this has turned out to be quite a difficult job. I wouldn't say it's too easy to do this at home, especially if you don't have a lift. I wouldn't like to be trying to do this lying on my back with the car propped, because like I said, it's in a very awkward position, and it looks like this filter probably wasn't changed in many years, with the amount of rust that's around the bolts and the screw. The fact that looks like it's never been at, or someone attempted it before and ate the head off it. Either or. What I'll do now after I fit the new filter is I'm going to do some type of repair on this. So I'll probably drill this out so I can fit a new screw or even a cable tie to lock it in position. But either way, we now have the filter removed. The hard work on this side is done. I'll do a quick repair on regards to that locking pin, and it'll be ready for fit back. Okay, so we have the new filter here, we have the old filter here. And you need to make sure that you replace this seal here. So use a pick or whatever. There should be a new rubber seal in the box. So that down, that sits down there like that, and we'll be fitting that back into the housing now. I now have the screw taken out. I had to drill it out. If the same thing was to happen to you, make sure that when you're drilling, have like a squirt bottle of water beside you, so that it doesn't melt the plastic. So when you're drilling a metal screw, the metal screw will heat and in turn would melt the plastic in its position. So if you're doing that, take your time, drill it in, we'll say 10-second increments or something like that, and be spraying water on in between to make sure it doesn't heat up too much. So that's that side done, and that's a view of the screw that I drilled out. So you can see I got the center out nicely, and then it just pulled through. So I now have the screw back in place. What I used was a spare T20 that I had lying around, and as you can see, it's acting as a locker there again. So everything is fine in that regard. I think I'm going to stop the video here because it's getting to be a long video as it is. You have all the information now that you need. You just do everything in the reverse order. You can't go wrong with the positioning of this, because the 3 bolts only go in a certain way. So just refit it back as the way you took it out. Be very cautious with putting the hoses on, and don't do any damage to any of the lugs, because the job will all be for nothing if you do. And that's basically it. It was a longer video than I expected, but these things happen with older cars. Things can be rusted, things can be corroded. You just have to find a way to get around that, and we've successfully done that with this. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.